What to do?
Mike's lost his beard.
He's dropped about 30 years as well, by the looks of it.
I'm not even saying anything.
Yeah, the poor guy's not here to defend himself. I'll just be quiet.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
So
Just rip the fuck out of him.
Phelps has let us down. It's not good. He's done it again. But I would like to say happy birthday, you dickhead.
Happy birthday, you big ginger fuck.
Yeah, so
Happy birthday, Mike. Sorry you're not here. I understand it's depressing when and you kind of lose count, I guess, after a while. But happy you made another year, buddy. He's only got a few left, I'm sure. But
well, if he doesn't turn up to next week's live stream, he's
got none left.
One week, maybe two. What's wrong with your face?
What's wrong with video? What's wrong with video?
It's mostly Danny's beard up against the mic.
Yeah, he's proper ginger, that isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? But isn't it weird? My hair's like black.
Yeah, Ryan,
I'm the same way. I have a ginger beard as well.
Get it out.
Yeah, but I can't really grow one in an efficient manner.
So, yeah, I will say, Jessica Hill, it's your internet connection, not us. So exit back out, come back in. It should be okay, hopefully.
Video needs tuning. What does that even mean?
You got to move the antenna, the cat ears around, or whatever, the bunny ears.
Jessica, this isn't the radio.
Hey guys, just move round.
Right, where's the chat feed? I can't see it.
It's on the screen, mate.
I can't see the fucker.
No, right, okay. So we seem to have an American on. So does the American want to explain to the listeners who you are and not just be an American?
Yeah, sure. I'm Joe Phelan, American. I keep North American colubrids, Indo-Australian pythons, and host a podcast called From the Ground Up. Or you may have known it referred to as something else, which is
Tell you what, I can keep talking.
All right. So, also I have Portcity pythons. Like I said, breed North American colubrids, Indo-Australian python.
Yeah,
there you go. Put it right over your logo there. That's okay.
Awesome.
Oh, sir.
Oh, God. Get him off. Get him off.
Mate, it's my birthday. I heard Joe's coming on. There's no way I was going to miss the live show.
Could you let us know in future, you fucking ginger wanker?
No, look. You can't just do one and not the other.
I have literally raced back and switched the computer on, and I'm here. How you doing, Joe?
Doing good. How are you? Happy birthday.
Thanks, pal.
I ain't happy. I've written out a whole page of bullshit of the reasons why I hate you.
Do you want me to go?
No, but happy birthday.
How old are you now, Phelps?
I'm 43.
Oh,
holy
43.
shit! Oh man,
I thought he was gonna lie and go sort of younger. But
I have.
I will say, Mike, as you get older, you're going to need some of these. So I'll start buying them now for you, and you'll be okay. We'll look after you.
Oh, brilliant!
Just so you know, they're going to need to be a fuck sight bigger than that horse.
Well,
I just have to use them as a liner. Oh, thanks for that.
You could hold it. You could hold it, couldn't you? And just like catch it.
Oh no!
Like a bucket.
Okay,
I'm glad I've come on.
Oh, I'm not. Right, okay, so before we get cracking, I just want to thank everyone that has purchased merchandise over the last 24 hours. Obviously, that money is going to help the Australian bus fires. So what we've said, for the whole of the month of January, any merchandise that has been purchased will donate the profits. So head on over to reptileandjaw.com, and get buying. And you get a free t-shirt, and we get to pay out money as well. And so either way, you fuck us over, gain a t-shirt, and do a good cause. All good. That's about it. Joe, do you want to just do the show and we can go?
Yeah, I got this.
Why not?
Can I just say, there's 4 people on here that do podcasts, and nothing's gone wrong yet. Because you know what?
Give it time.
Yeah, give it time.
I can't. For some reason, I can't get off the chat. There we go.
Look. My situation means that I've got to do this feed from my bedroom. Like, I can't help it. It's not my problem.
Tisk.
Can I just say a quick thank you to everyone for all the birthday messages today? I've been absolutely overwhelmed. I've actually been in a group audit all day today, so auditing, and my phone's just been lit up all day. So thank you. I haven't had a chance to go through them all yet, but thank you very much. It's really appreciated.
Every single one was Mike, you're a prick. Joe.
Yes.
Our guest, who's humbly sitting there waiting for us to stop talking absolute bullshit.
It's not going to happen.
No, never. Sorry. What have you got for us to have a look at today, if anything?
Yeah, I think I'm going to start with the Louisiana pine snake, and it's going to be hard. I'm trying to talk into the mic, but I'm going to turn my head away for a little bit.
Louisiana pine snake is really good start. Is it noisy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we'll see. It's kind of behavior dependent. It seems like today the female wanted to be nice to me and the male was mean, and usually it's the other way around. So when I get her out, we'll know for sure, though.
So I had a northern pine years ago, and nobody was interested. And now they seem to have sort of like they're quite an interesting animal now, aren't they? Everybody seems to be. Well, you can't get them as much anymore, and they seem to be sort of like, people think differently of them from what they used to.
Yeah, I think it's the attitude that goes along with them, and the noise they make, and
the bluff, and the way they rattle the little tail.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to kind of situate in a way that this isn't going to be totally weird, and I can get her to calm down for a second. Yeah, so this is the Louisiana pine snake, and this is actually the rarest snake in North America. So they're native to Texas and Louisiana, in a very small portion right on the border of those 2 states in the United States. And they're an animal, keeled, scaled. They're not huge. I mean, they're smaller as far as the pine snakes go. Your northern pines, the more north you go, it seems the larger they get. Your northern pines can be huge, and they're here like just east of us in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. But these guys stay a little bit smaller. They take over gopher holes, and they smash all the inhabitants against the wall and eat them one by one. And makes them pretty fucking cool. And also a federally enlisted endangered species. So this guy can't travel across state lines. So actually, one of your questions when I was on the show last time in our little trivia thing was, what's the rarest snake in America? And the answer was this guy right here. And I have a group I have 3 adults. So I actually have 2 males and 1 female. And then this is actually one of my babies that I hatched out this year. We had 3 eggs. So the Louisiana pine snake, part of why it's so endangered is the fact that it really has some small clutches. Oh, fuck me. I'm going to get bit in the face.
Joe, did you just say that you bred this? This is one of this year's? Because if that snake's 15 days old, mate, that's fucking huge.
The eggs are, I put it next to a $1 bill, and I know you guys may not know how big that is. So maybe that's a really bad fucking way to determine it. But I mean, they were as big as a $1 bill. So they're these weird oblong eggs. I mean, they come out I would say probably bigger than a ball python.
Right. I was gonna say,
taking adult mice, dude. They take adult mice when they come out of the egg.
I was going to say, are you feeding it caravans?
Joe, you just fucked up, mate. You need to correct yourself. We're going to kick you off.
What's that?
Think about it.
Well, what did you just referred to a certain animal, in a name that's actually not their name.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
It's
Hasn't it?
A substantiated story. You
banned. You're banned.
It's
Banned
still
for
Right,
life.
okay,
all
right.
right.
You can stay if you say sorry.
All right.
Oh.
You have this animal that whenever you touch it, whenever anything happens, instead of doing something cool like this, rolls into a little ball. I mean, it's just the best description of that animal that could ever be is a ball python. Royal python is based on a story that doesn't even exist. Let's be honest. It's never even happened. Royals never had these snakes. They never had them on their arms. No Egyptian queen ever had them. I don't.
And being a binomial expert, right?
A what? A what now?
Binomial
Hoss.
expert.
Oh, there.
Right. Not even going there.
we're gonna recoin this snake, the hissing snake,
Yeah.
not the pine snake.
But I tell you what, though, Joe, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Louisiana, it seems a lot more sort of like it's got more of a brown in the coloration as opposed to, but like when I had my Northern Pine, it was a lot more of a grey. Is that typical of the Louisiana? It's got more of a brown color, yeah.
Yeah, so the northern pine, at least the individual that you want to get is as high white as possible. So some of the New Jersey animals can be like almost white and black, which is really the most desirable form. And then these guys have a lot more reds and oranges as it comes down to the bottom, to the base of the tail. They start off pretty plain up here, pretty creamy coloration at top, and then they can get pretty red down at the bottom. May not be, and that increases with age a little bit, and it may not be very easy to see on camera, but it's also pretty subtle. I mean, it's not like it's super red or anything like that, but
yeah, it's lovely though.
And it has a lot higher blotch count than, say, the northern pines. The northern pines have a very distinct, see that mouth open? Let's see if I can get it. They have a very distinct pattern as far as it's not even close to as busy as this.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things
that's stunning.
is distinct about this animal.
And are they hard to get in captivity as well? Or
yeah, so being federally endangered, they can't go across state lines. So that's part of the problem, and that just happened. I believe 2019 is when it went into effect. But there's a small handful of people breeding them in the U.S.
I should imagine the price went up. I got him. I should imagine the price has gone up since they brought that in.
Yeah, it's crazy. It went from no one caring to everyone kind of going crazy about them.
Yeah, stunning. Oh yeah, look, I love it.
I'm trying to get into the mic
attitude.
Brilliant.
Joe,
his mouth open now.
Not going to bite your face when it's that far away, mate.
No, not this far away. A little bit closer. It will definitely try. So these guys actually have like an epiglottis, which is in front of their throat, unlike a lot of other snakes, which allows them to vibrate and huff. I mean, that much louder, hiss really super loud. And
yeah. So James Lewis keeps saying that yours are defective and his are nice. I think James just needs to keep them a bit warmer or piss them off a bit more.
It's fair.
You know what I mean?
Give it to Hoss for a week.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean,
To be fair, mine don't hiss. Mine doesn't hiss. Mine just shakes his tail like it genuinely thinks it's a.
What do you have?
I've got a striped gopher.
Well,
she's a shitbag.
I was gonna say they're probably more flighty than defensive in comparison. I mean, they do the same exact behaviors, right? But this is
pretty much, yeah. And it looks, incredibly similar. But mine is striped rather than spotted. But all the sound is in the back end instead of the front end of this one.
Just so everybody who's not aware of that, especially the pine snakes, they have like a hard point to their tail. And they vibrate it against something hard, which gives that sort of it's like a little rattle, like a rattlesnake would do, as a defense mechanism. It's all threat posture. It's all a big bluff, but
it's all a mimic. It's all a mimic, and anything to sound like a big scary rattlesnake. saying leave me alone.
Ow!
You've got to leave your hand.
Saw that one coming.
So
It's like if I could keep her attention just away from the hand that is holding her. I mean, they usually don't bite the hand that's holding them. That goes for most snakes, right? But wow.
No. All of my snakes will bite anything that's near them.
I'm so glad we've got that recorded now, because your reaction was so camp. Like that's going to make a great YouTube video.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to put her down before I get bit in the face.
I don't blame you.
Go on, Joe.
Sport.
Trying to do this very gingerly.
So Joe's the first person on our live show to get bit.
I think he is.
Is he?
Yeah.
Did Francis take a little tag from one of his?
I don't know. I think that was just wishful thinking.
No, I think Francis did get a bit.
Did I?
Only a little one. Nothing serious, but
no. Unfortunately, he still breathes. Can I just say as well, Ryan Cox? I did turn to page 134, and you can go fuck yourself. I ain't saying it.
Okay, what we got here then, Joe?
So this is, and I'm sure people have heard me talk about this animal a lot, but I won't shut up about it, even though no one cares. This is the Slowinski's corn snake, or some people call it a Slowinski's rat snake. So like you said, you've never had anyone get bit on this. I mean, I'm going to change that real quick with a lot of these rare North American colubrids. These guys aren't very bitey. I mean, they're a little bit weird. They kind of twitch when you touch them, and but they're anything but bitey, really. But it's the newest species of rat snake or corn snake in North America.
Oh, we are wrong. Ryan Duncan got bit by a tree frog.
That is true.
He did. Absolutely right. Yeah,
he got by quite a few frogs, didn't he?
He got bitten, and the one tried to eat him.
That's cool, man.
That's gorgeous. That is.
Yeah, I mean, it's super basic, right? It's gray and brown. I mean, not many people are going to write home about it, but it has a cool story behind it. So, I said, it's like one of the more newly described North American colubrids, and they were once thought to be just an Emery's rat snake mixed with a corn snake, because it seems like that could be possible as far as an intergrade zone goes. But due to new research and DNA, it's pretty much proven at this point that it is a completely separate species. And that was, I mean, we're talking 2002, 2003 or something that this was described. And it was named after Joseph Slowinski, and he is a herpetologist. There was a herpetologist who was actually out in Myanmar, and they were studying kraits. And if you don't know where kraits exist, the many-banded krait, there's also a mimic that's called a lycodon or a wolf snake or a deinodon. The taxonomy is changing all the time, but basically it's a snake that looks exactly like it. And Dr. Slowinski had this guide, a local guide, and he was bagging up snakes for him to check out later. So the guide had marked this bag as a non-venomous deinodon or lycodon, and he opened it up, went to go look for it, and got bit, and it was a krait. And unfortunate for Joseph Slowinski in Myanmar, first of all, he was in the middle of the jungle, right? Ugh. And second of all, it was September 11th, 2001. So for all of us, for all of you non-American folks, that is the day that Al-Qaeda basically attacked the World Trade Center, and therefore flights were shut down all throughout the United States. Yeah. And I'm guessing abroad as well, but so they weren't able to get with the embassy and arrange for him to be flown out and everything like that. So Joseph Slowinski just started documenting his symptoms throughout the whole thing and basically died in Myanmar.
It's a real sad story, isn't it?
Yeah. And he loved Louisiana and that area. That's where he worked. And then when they found this rat snake species in Louisiana and they figured it out to be a different species, they named it in honor of him. So that's the whole story behind it.
Yeah, that's
a nice story, and how unlucky as well. For obviously, that the twin towers to happen as well.
Yeah, the one time to get bit, it's incredible, isn't it, when you think about it?
He was also allergic to antivenom, so that's also part of the equation, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's mad. It's mad.
Go ahead, Huff.
Holding a corn snake, and it's an animal where a lot of us overlook. I haven't, to be honest, I haven't seen one for quite a while, and they're stunning, absolutely stunning.
And this is very different from, say, your common corn snake, which is going to be red and orange.
Mm-hmm.
And these are actually, in the hobby, a lot of people like to call them Kisatchie rat snakes, because I guess fuck Joseph Slowinski, I guess. I mean, I don't know. But I always call them Slowinski's corn snakes, and they are actually closer. Well, let's say one of the most popular and most respected corn snake breeders. He was one of the first people into the project to breed these in captivity. And so he decided, to avoid confusion, he was going to call it the Kisatchie's rat snake, because they're finding Kisatchie National Forest, which is also on the border of Louisiana and Texas. And that's actually, I don't know, I think that's bad as far as dropping the Slowinski name, first of all. And second of all, if you look at where they came off as far as where the species is split, they're much more closely related to the corn snakes and the fox snakes than they are the rat snakes. So even though they're all technically rat snakes, you can all call them rat snakes. They all have common ancestors. They're all Pantherophis. Probably most correctly called the Slowinski's corn snake. And if you look at any scientific research where it refers to the Slowinski's corn snake, it's going to be mentioned as such. So, or Pantherophis slowinskii, you can call it that. But sorry for my diatribe, but I feel like I got to explain that because people like to talk shit about it all the time that I call them that. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of messages going on. Yeah, like no,
there's a bit of arguing in the chat. Not arguing, but people stating opinions. This is what I love about the hobby. Everyone's full of fucking shit and likes to put their 2 pence in. But this is about what Joe's saying, not you in the chat. Bye.
Oh, and James is he's just fucking with me. He knows I hate this. And I actually the other day I had to post up a scientific or an article that was written by Burbrink and basically that broke down the whole thing and called it corn snake and all that stuff. And people were, first of all, like, were so close or so fast to tell me not to do that just because someone who's respected said that. And listen, I understand and I respect that person as well. But if I have scientific proof that mine is at least more correct, that's a more correct way to do it. And it's a more respectful way to do it to herpetologists and actual science, not hobby science, then I'm going to call it that. Sorry.
Well, to be honest, you go with the masses. Again, it's to avoid confusion when you're selling something on as well. When you bred something, you need to be calling it what the common name is, or what we should all be picking the same thing. The only time that I do disagree with this is that it's a royal python, not a ball python. But to go with the mass, because it's going to save the.
It's convenient. It's not correct. It's convenient. And I don't like that. Fuck that. No, I'd rather it be correct.
Joe, are you working with it and hoping to breed these, or have you bred them, or is this just for keepsake?
Yeah, so I got this animal about a year ago or so, and I picked up a male and a female. So I'm pretty pumped. They're het for silverleaf, which is a mutation of them. So people have barely worked for them, and somehow we already got 2 mutations. We have an anery and we have a silverleaf. So I guess people would say, there goes the project kind of thing, but not really. People still don't care. So and I'm glad they don't. It's a little niche species,
Yeah, absolutely.
It is cool. Very cool.
Yeah. And then got some other Pantherophis goodies going on.
Get it out.
Mate, if it's that low on the floor, I don't want him to get it out.
Get your corn out. Get your corn out.
What are you doing? Look at the state of this cat.
Oh, yes.
I mean, this is going to be a short-lived little thing here because I don't know if she'll let me hold her for that long. But this here is a leucistic western rat snake. So, it's not anything rare or anything like that, but it's a beautiful animal, blue-eyed leucistic.
Do you want to explain a little bit about the leucistics, John?
In the rat snakes in particular?
Just, from in all kinds of species of snake, you can get leucistics. I know in sort of like carpet pythons, it's fatal. But could you just explain a little bit about the genetics behind a leucistic?
Yeah, so this guy, and that goes for most leucistic snakes, actually, including the ball python, and it's an incomplete dominant gene. So for a while, people considered this a recessive, but they have what's called the rusty rat snake, which is actually kind of like just a lighter western rat snake, which when you put those two lighter animals together, you get the leucistic, which is, a total obliteration of all the pigment. And in this leucistic in particular, the eyes go blue as well as some of the combinations in ball pythons. But
so some people, sorry, Joe, will confuse and go, oh, it's an albino, but that's the big difference, isn't it? You'll have a darker eye in a leucistic and you'll have a pink eye in an albino.
It depends. I mean, there's I want to say that there is some type of leucism where there could be. There's also some leucism that results in combinations with, amelanistic. So like this guy, if you look really close, he kind of has like what we'd call in corn snakes a ruby eye. And I don't know what they call that in rat snakes, but it's like not exactly red eyes, but it's definitely not black. It's like a dark red, if that makes any sense.
Hello?
And then in corn snakes, rat snakes, that kind of thing, we usually call albinos or albinos, if you want to pronounce it like you guys do. We call those amelanistic because we don't have any true albinos. It's just a lack of melanin. And then I guess a lot of people think that albino is a lack of all pigment, and I've seen it described as that. And I guess in that case, that would describe this snake. I don't know. I don't know what the difference is, though. To be honest, I don't know. It's probably semantics at that point.
Either way, it's pretty gorgeous.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's got blue eyes.
Oh yeah, you can't.
Incredible.
You can't deny that, and no matter if you're not like a morph guy or anything like that, you can't deny that a white snake with blue eyes. I mean,
yeah.
Do you know what my only issue with that snake is?
What?
I don't know what. If you hadn't told me what it was, there's absolutely no way I'd know what it was. Any like, I could sit there for days and be like, no, don't know what that is.
It's a blue-eyed snake.
It's a colibrid of some form.
No, I couldn't either.
Yeah, you're right.
Nobody knows.
Yeah,
like
so if you want
the only thing.
If you sit there with a magnifying glass and start counting the little scales,
Count. Yeah.
I'd just call it whatever's the most expensive leucistic at the time.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
That's because you're a prick, Mike. That's why.
That's because I'm joking, you knobhead. Can't call me that today.
I think it's easy not to get confused in this case, just because like corn snakes don't have a leucistic gene in them yet, which is kind of surprising, right? But yeah, they don't have a leucistic.
It's a nice snake though, as you say, white with blue eyes. That's cool as fuck.
Oh yeah,
and he doesn't seem aggressive, but plenty of movement there. It's good fun to handle.
Yeah, can you get your pussy off the screen, please?
Look at it just clinging on.
She's a little shitbag. She just sat here. Look, she's just like my little baby. Can you, mate? Can you hear her purring?
Was that a purring? I could, yeah. I thought it was a dog growling. She was that close to the mic when she was purring.
Oh, well, that got your pussy out and Joe's fucked off.
That says a lot. So no, you're not telling us, Joe.
You know, I'm really struggling. I've got a Snickers bar.
That's why Melissa ain't there. She ain't at work. Get off my toggles. Get off.
Oh,
it's nice.
A dirty brown thing. Dirty and brown.
What are we looking at?
Fuscus.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, he's going to get hit in the face.
Nah, man, this is a cool snake. I mean, she is so good. And I think that has to do with her being a true Australian animal instead of these, import. I guess Papua New Guinea would be it, right?
Yeah.
Still doesn't want it near his face.
Oh fuck no! I don't want any snake near my face, man. I don't trust anything. And there's definitely one thing about Liasis in every respect is that just never trust them. And that goes for my olive. That goes for water.
Yeah,
that probably goes for most of the others that people have.
Yeah, I can honestly say fuck Macklot's pythons.
Definitely never trust those.
That's
fuck
nice.
pythons in general.
Scales on it are fantastic, aren't they?
It's,
so smooth. Yeah.
It's the belly that gets me. It's the yellowness.
Yeah. That sort of golden look. That's cool.
So you say this is a female, Joe. And how old's this girl?
Oh, this girl's about 3 years old. So I would say, she may have like another year or two of growth on her. Not really that much. I mean, a really handleable snake and a very decent size.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I've definitely seen them a lot larger, but that's up to you kind of at some point, right?
Could you pronounce it like Eric Burke and Owen McIntyre?
See, I'm not natively from Philly, but so that's where. So if people don't know, Owen and Eric both live in Philly, which is also where I live, but they have cool accents. I don't. So
you all sound the same.
Yeah, I was going to ask, you all sound American.
Oh, what a python.
Yeah, I love this.
I just realized that Phelps' accents are almost as bad as Hoss's. And Hoss, can you pronounce the binomial?
Yeah, it's go fuck yoss. Yourself off, up the arse off. Please.
Hoss, you're making me nervous with me full screen this whole time.
But I was gonna put you on, but Danny's now gone.
Where's he gone?
I think I told him to fuck you off us. Oh shit!
So he has.
Yeah. Magic spell. Sorry, I forgot I was Harry Potter.
I got a phone call and it just booted me out.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know who it was. Didn't even look. I was like, nah, fuck you.
So should I bring more animals out, or I don't know? Because you said it will last like 30 minutes. We've already gone over.
Go on, we've got a little bit of time.
Man. It's Mike's birthday. Show him something that he's going to make him go.
Mardi Gras, take your clothes off.
Yeah, it's hard. I never really know like what to bring out, especially because like corn snake wise, I know no one's really that thrilled about seeing corn snakes, or they're also too tiny kind of to show off. And then all the bigger.
You got some cool corn snakes though, Joe.
Yeah, but I think to be honest, like the coolest part is seeing them in detail in like a good picture.
Have you got any palmettos?
Yeah, well, I have het palmettos, and I kind of blew it this year. And,
nah.
Well, not really. Our male was super sketchy, and like whenever I put him in the bin with our female, he literally would jump out of the bin, like he did not want anything to do with her. And then so I was like, fuck it, it's getting to the end of the year here. I got to try to make something happen. I paired her with another male. They took. So then I was like, all right, she's primed. It's not him. I know I already got her locked up once, so we're probably pretty solid. And I put the het palmetto in with her, and they locked. So I was like, okay, I got at least 50% chance. I'll keep on trying to lock them up. And then, of course, the other animal is the animal that got the eggs. So no palmettos this year.
That's always next year.
But now I have het palmetto, het anery, het hypo, het stripes. So there you go.
It's a bit, yeah, Danny.
Or tessera also in there as well. But
so Ryan Cox has politely asked, "Get the fucking olive python."
What's the big? Oh, he's gone. He's the worst guest we've ever had.
Yeah, Mike,
He just
your
keeps walking
camera's
off.
better.
Pardon?
Have you got a new camera, Mike?
No.
What are you doing?
My internet has finally got sorted out.
Mm-hmm.
And I've
Is that because you
bought,
rang up and
I've
like
bought
laid
this
into
amazing little LED light, right? That literally
Oh.
unplugs, and it's only $5.99, and it's proper super cool.
Where was that from?
I think it was from the range.
That's what it's all about, lighting.
Lighting, 100%.
Yeah, man. I need to sort myself out. And Joe needs to stop getting strangled.
We've just seen the Fuscus, Joe.
So
it
people
does
don't
look
know
quite.
same genus as the water.
Yeah.
I mean, one of some of the only patternless pythons as far as the genus Liasis. So,
And that's a baby one.
Yeah, these just get a hell of a lot bigger.
yeah, I mean, you're looking at 12, 15 feet probably.
Look at that head. Look how smooth that head is. It's amazing.
Some of the photos I've seen them as well, though. Some of the prey items they take are humongous, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I mean, they eat
the
crocs and everything. You've seen that that really popular one where they're eating like rock wallabies, I guess would be the species.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly, but there's one with one like hanging off a cliff, taking the giant rock wallaby or trying to swallow. They've also tried to swallow like those invasive water buffaloes and stuff like that. Yeah, they'll really eat anything. They'll also eat snakes in the wild.
Right.
So basically what you're saying is
eat Joe's face as well.
When this python gets bigger, Melissa's a bit sketchy to whether she stays or...
Dude, I'm building her an 8-foot enclosure, so Melissa's super pissed. I'll feed her every day. I'll give her UVB even.
Oh, brilliant!
But yeah, I made like so Melissa's pretty excited about having this giant enclosure that is about as big as Haas's room right now. So
he's already made it. Look, I'm not being funny, right? But us British don't live in, apart from Phelps, don't live in these massive houses. We live in little boxes.
Sorry, we're comfortable, man. I don't know.
And we pay a bucket load of money for them and all.
Yeah, we pay through the roof. You get a lot of house for your money in the States, don't you? Compared to over here.
Not exactly here, just because we're like actually in the city. I think you guys, it's just different because so much of your life, I think, is more urban as far as we have so much open land.
Yeah.
So it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, that's right. So what are these like as a species to keep, Joe?
What's that? Sorry.
What are these like as a species to keep?
I mean, I keep this just like a carpet.
Yeah.
And how I keep carpets usually like 86 to 88 degree hot spot, if that, and water bowl. I don't know. Cocoa bedding. Throw them a rat at this point, this girl's about 3 years old. She'll get a rat every 2 to 3 weeks, probably more towards 2, depending on the time of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite formidable feeders.
What's that?
Would you say they're quite formidable feeders? They're not fussy.
Oh, dude. I gotta open the enclosure with a hook, and I have like those giant tongs like Haas had up before.
Yeah.
Dude, you stand off to the side of that enclosure
and you throw it.
Yeah, dude, they'll catch it. Yeah, you've seen those videos.
Yeah.
I've done that with this girl. She'll catch it.
Someone's put a question in unrelated to Joe, but I think Joe possibly could answer this for us.
Guys, I have a question. So I'm the first time snake owner and he shed for the second time. So my question is, I feed him every Monday and he didn't eat on Monday. So would you feed him right after the shed or stick to the routine?
First question is, how old is it?
And what species?
How old? What species? I hate routine.
Yeah, so obviously when you start keeping snakes, we get the advice to feed every 7 days or 10 days. you don't need to stick to that. They're not going to keel over and die.
No.
If it refuses a meal, that's perfectly fine, especially when the snake is shedding. But yeah, so personally, I would literally just let it shed, and then the following Monday offer it again. But to get some better advice, we can find out how old the animal is and what the species is, and then we can try and help
Go
you
from there. Yeah, keep an eye on that chat, Hoss.
What I found as well, when years ago when I used to feed quite routinely, the snake would be out waiting, like ready for the food. It just knew it was coming, so it would be in its hide, and then all of a sudden, either the night before I'm about to feed it, would all of a sudden appear, and it's like, wow, they actually know there's food coming.
I also found when I kept carpets, boas, that kind of stuff. When I fed every week, it wasn't as bad. But when I started keeping scrubs, white lips, Bismarcks, that 7-day period, they were still switched on in food mode after 7 days. So it wasn't until kind of like day 12, day 13, until they started to calm back down again. And then obviously then you feed them again. So constantly in food mode. So feeding them larger meals 3-4 weeks apart I think was better for me not getting nailed and for the animal as well.
Joe, I think Danny says something that's quite good, and he always says, wait for the snake to pass what they've eaten before you feed them again. Wait till they start probably cruising around, depending on the age, but wait till they start sort of like cruising around the viv a little bit, and then they're ready for another feed.
Yeah, so Jeremy's not sure of the age, but it's a corn snake.
Yeah, so I mean, especially for corn snakes, meals are kind of precious in comparison to your ball pythons or even your carpet pythons. So it is something more to keep on top of. I don't love having baby corn snakes go without a meal. So I mean, I would, after it sheds, since you only have one, you can keep an eye on it. Just offer it right after it sheds. If it eats, it eats. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, that's kind of a thing to where meals are unfortunately a little bit more important when it comes to baby colubrids, just because their metabolism is so fast. So yeah, and a lot of this stuff goes off of body condition, right? That's why it sucks kind of giving people advice, because most of the decisions I make when it comes to this stuff, and probably a lot of snake keepers make, is looking at the body condition of the animal. Was that animal the first animal to feed right out of the egg? I have some corns that are the same age. One will be twice as big just because it took off immediately and ate as soon as possible. And the other ones took a little bit going, or started on a nose, or started on something different. So I take different considerations for every single animal. And so I know who needs a meal and who doesn't. But
definitely. And obviously I always need a meal. Kyle wants to know, Joe, do you feed chicken at all?
So it's not something that I kind of go out of my way to do, but my buddy JT at Silent Hill Reptiles, we were at a reptile show, and he knew I was struggling with getting some animals to feed, so he gave me some quail and some baby chicks and stuff like that, and I fed them off to the olive in the water. And yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely, obviously it's always nice to switch it up, right? And poultry's super cheap, so it's not a bad idea. It's just, it's hard to go out of your way to do it when you have this many mouths to feed. Unfortunately, I'm unfortunately at that point, and I'm trying to go down from that point. Kind of like how Haas was talking about. I was listening to the episode last night, your first episode of the season. I mean, I am kind of at that point where I hit my limit at a certain point, and Haas wasn't sure if it was because he had too many animals or blah blah blah. But I mean, I think, that was my trigger, at least, is that I think it's just too many babies. Producing close to 200 babies that's about where
that's a lot of work.
You've got to think as well, and there's going to be people who are listening to this now. How many times have we bought a snake or had a snake that won't feed for 3-4 months or whatever, and then you're getting stressed out, and that's one animal. Imagine if you had 200 that all potentially could be, that's a lot of stress.
Oh, and keep in mind, this is not all going swimmingly. We're talking about baby colubrids. They have a lot of babies for a reason. Lots of failures to thrive. Typically, going starting in the wintertime when I'm about to brumate is when the herd kind of starts thinning. The animals, because most colubrid guys would just throw them to the king snake if they don't eat, the first few times. But I try to get everyone feeding. And I think in a way that's actually is what took it away from me. Like that's what took the love of doing this away from me in sort of a way, because I was assist feeding. I was putting in all this work, and we're talking about when you have 200 animals, you're talking about 10 to 15 animals that are like this. And I'm really, really trying to get them going. And you're just seeing one animal will take a turn, but so many of them just never, ever make it, which I think goes to the fact that the older folks, they just feed them off because they're kind of sparing their heartbreak, and also they get to feed other animals. So, and I don't know where I am with that right now.
Yeah.
So,
just to interrupt, while the chat's going on, Gemma, if you want to drop me a PM, and we'll talk about that, because 3 days is a bit often.
Oh, did he say how old it was and what it was?
Well, if he's feeding it pinkies,
I presume it's a young animal.
It's a youngster. Yeah.
no worries skipping that meal then, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I do, and sorry to interrupt you, Phelps,
no, it's okay.
So I typically do babies up until 6 months. I start off 4 to 6 days, and then at about 6 months, I do a solid every 7 days. So for the most part, I usually, and like you were mentioning before, it's not clockwork. I don't like routine. I don't do any of that stuff because it depends on show schedule and things I got going on with work. And so it's probably usually 5 to 7 days most of the time for babies, and then stretching it out to once a week at about 6 months, and then at about a year to 2 years, maybe 10 days. And then eventually adults, you're going to look at every 2 to 3 weeks. So.
See, it's mad because obviously I'm predominantly a python keeper, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, what? Once a week? No, you can't do that. Fuck. Obviously, colubrids are high metabolism, and they deal with it.
Yeah. I was listening to MBR earlier today, and they was talking about sort of like feeding the youngsters as they come out the eggs, and they were saying, don't feed them too quickly. Some people, when they, their first shed, they then try and feed them straight away, but they were saying, it's probably best to leave them probably 3 or 4 weeks till they're actually hungry, because that first meal can make a big difference. If you don't get it right the first time, it could actually put them off for a longer period. So when they shed for the first time, leave them for a longer period of time till they're actually hungry. And they were saying it's probably more of a success rate.
It's a hard subject, that is, because there's that many people who have had better success or more success personally from when they feed before the animal even sheds, and then after.
Yeah.
And it's yeah.
I think it's all about timing. When they're babies, their energy levels deplete so quickly. Yeah. So a shed is going to use up all of its energy, and it's not going to regain that energy for another 2 to 3 days. A feed is going to use every ounce of its energy, and then it's going to be depleted already by the time it does shed. So then it's going to take even longer to bounce back after that, and then they wonder why the second feed doesn't work and stuff like that. It's all about getting the timing right, and if they don't feed, just leave them alone. Leave them alone for another couple of weeks. That's what I've had to do with my Japanese rats.
They're one of the worst as well, aren't they, Danny?
Japanese
rats are a nightmare to get started.
They're an absolute pain in the ass. All 3 of them are eating now. They're all eating now just fine, but they were such hard work. It's literally a case of try them for an hour. Literally for an hour. I have to. You can't just... I've got to keep going and keep annoying the snake with this bloody pinky. And eventually they took them. But, to start with, the first good few feeds,
you do something...
Just give it a go and just leave them.
You do something like green trees where you kind of beat them with the pinky, or what do you do to get them to feed? Exactly.
Well, obviously to start off with, I had to do a lot of assist feeding because they were not interested whatsoever. I left them to shed the first time, and all 3 of them shed pretty much the same day or within a couple of days of each other. And then literally gave that a week and tried the feed in. They wouldn't have any of it, so I had to assist feed, like literally tails. mouse tails. They're tiny, like not a lot bigger than your fucking headphone cable. They were real small. So I had to assist feed them for the first 2 or 3 times. Then one of them struck. That was great. And then the other one struck, and then the other one struck. So within 3 feeds, you know. But yeah, it is the case of kind of annoying the snake, you know. Try not to cause too much stress, obviously, but you have to
piss it off enough for it to have a go.
Pretty much. That's what I found with some babies, especially the pain in the ass babies. You have to annoy them enough to the point where they go, oh, fuck off, and just strike for it and get the taste for it, and then just wiggle it about, make it sort of seem like an actual prey, and then fingers crossed they'll take it.
Any tips, Joe, from yourself?
No. I just thought I wanted Japanese rats, and I no longer do, actually. Save me some time, man.
Once they start feeding, I'm fully confident that they will smash every single meal from now on.
And that's
I'm not worried about it.
Like, I have these Eastern Black King snakes, and I was assist feeding them for about 4 months or so. And then they finally took, and then they're solid once they take, but it's just getting them on it. And I don't know what that is exactly.
Pretty much exactly the same here. Assist feeding for best part of 4 or 5 months for most of them. And every time you're leaving it a little while longer, thinking, oh, maybe if I just leave it a little while longer between feeds, you know. And I was going up to like 3 weeks between feeds, between attempts, and these are babies that are literally this big and, you know, tiny. So it's a real, like Hoss was just saying, it's stressful. It's stressful watching these little babies that you've produced, and you're real proud of them. And it's stressful thinking, fuck, if these guys don't get going soon, there's a very high chance that they're just going to keel over.
It's a weird thing as well, because you feel that it's your responsibility to get them to eat because you produce them. Yeah, it's not your responsibility. It's their own fucking responsibility to bastard eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it needs to eat its whole life. Just fucking do it.
But also, and then you take in the indirect factors as well. Like, you sit there stressing, it keeps you up at night. So you think, I'm doing something wrong. So you change the parameters just a little bit, you tweak things, and then that animal has to get used to that. So you stress it out again, you know, and then it doesn't want to feed again for another week because it's not used to its surroundings or its parameters, you know. And there's all these little individual things that can knock the animal back just this little bit. And then you try and feed it a little bit too early and it's still not ready, and then that knocks it back, and it's like it's never ending, you know.
Do you remember when we had Joe on for the first time with NPR, and I thought they were taking the piss out of us English, and they said, "Have you not taken them?" I had all the carpets at the time. They said, "Have you not taken them for a drive, sort of like round the block in your car?" And I'm just like, no. It was the biggest wind up ever, and I was like, oh yeah, in the States everybody knows that, take it for a drive. So I did, and yeah, absolutely worked. Didn't get all of them feeding, but there was a massive difference in that, you know. It's funny how these little things, I mean, Hoss usually gets his little butt vibrator out, doesn't he, and drops that on the top of the tub.
Definitely. And whilst we're on that topic, I think it's totally fuck off.
You can use the washing machine too, though, for those who don't have lucky enough to have a vehicle, I suppose.
I actually found, again, this is a ridiculous thing, but the last one out of the 3 Japanese rats that wouldn't eat, the last one to eat was really starting to piss me off, if I'm honest. I was like, just fucking eat this tiny little mouse. I know you can. So I tried something really weird. I was heating up some pinkies, and I got my hairdryer out, right, and I was heating them up, you know, the old-fashioned way, and I thought I'd just try it just once. I don't know what came over me really, but I actually sat the hairdryer over the snake's tub, right? A good couple of feet away, so it could just feel the air, and it was just like this slight warm air and a lot of noise and sort of disruption. And literally within 2 minutes, smash! It just smashed this pinky straight away. And I don't know how it happened. It might just be a coincidence, but that whole sort of stressful air and warmth, coming towards it seemed to do something, triggered something.
All right, so this is going to be really weird, and sorry, I'm going to drag this on when we obviously should have ended a long time ago. But the weird thing is that the one thing I did, all those animals besides one ate on the same day. The one thing I did was that I have this table in my room where all my problem feeder babies are, and I took my space heater and I had to stow it kind of under the table for a second because we were filming or something, and I kind of left it there overnight, making those animals probably a bit warmer than they usually were, and they all ate that night. And this is not a species that thrives off of heat at all. But it works, so maybe there's something going on there. Maybe
it might be just. It might not even be heat. It might be just the change. If you cooled them up for one night, it might have the same effect. It's as though they need that little bit of stress, isn't it? Just to trigger them.
And maybe these animals go right into brumation after they hatch. So especially in North America, some of these animals hatch out late, and then they don't even get meals before they have to go down in brumation.
But going back to what Danny was saying earlier about energy and not having the physical willpower to be able to eat. So we think of things from a kinetic perspective. So warm something up means to give it more energy. So maybe it being slightly warmer gave it that energy that it needs to be able to eat. I don't know. Maybe I'm just babbling.
It does make a lot of sense, to be fair. I mean, it's almost like combined with that and maybe take into account that you're sort of leading it into a sort of false security of the warm season. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's just a few hours or an overnight, I think that can probably trick a snake a little bit more than we think to make it think that it's ready to be eaten.
Possibly. Look, we need to wrap up. So we've got a podcast to record.
So we're recording a podcast today too.
Can I just quickly say, Hoss?
No, you can't.
That's my mother-in-law. The dog doesn't eat, and that's because you keep on cooking it. Steak cooked in butter, and I wouldn't eat if I was getting offered steak cooked in butter, as an alternative. So that's why the dog doesn't eat. Sorry.
What? I love the fact that she comes on here to say the dog's not eating.
She also asked me if she's got any post. You got any post?
Okay, so Joe, just before you go, I've got one last question for you.
Oh no.
How many pairs of headphones are you going to get through in 2020?
I'd say anything short of 4 would be a disappointment.
All right, so we've done 62 episodes of Reptile and Chill, and I've used these.
Really?
Those are rookie numbers, brother. Got to pump them up.
To be fair, I think I've been through about three or 4 pairs already.
No. We're catching up, Joe. We're catching up.
I got sweaty ear holes, I guess. I don't know.
I just like technology, and I can't help spending my money on shit.
Well, yeah, mine are from the gas stations, so then maybe that's why they always break.
Possibly. Right, okay. So I think that's about it. Joe, do you want to tell everyone where they can find all your bits of information and your podcast as well?
Yes. So From the Ground Up podcast, you can find it wherever podcasts are found. And PortCityPythons.com, Port City Pythons on Instagram, Facebook, and now it's Port City Pythons podcast on YouTube because that's fucking confusing, I guess. And then Port City Pet also on YouTube is our new channel. And I'd love if everyone would support us, including Danny, and go subscribe right now.
We did talk about it on the podcast.
We've got nothing but support for you.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Okay, and Danny is now going to do ours.
Someone at the door.
So if you want to support our podcast, please head on over to our website, which is www.reptileandchill.com, or you can find us on any other Yeah, look there. It makes it easy for you. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.
And we are
the
back.
handle of @Reptile and Chill.
Back we go. Sorry, but then we go. And then we're back next Wednesday at 7 p.m. UK time for another live stream. There'll be a new podcast episode on Monday morning. Until then,
we're getting Melissa on next time. Take the piss out of Joe.
Yeah, love you, bye.
Joe, you've made my birthday. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you so much for inviting me, guys.
And
love you, bye.
Can I say as well, it's nice to see you on camera without a black eye.
I thought with your accent, I thought you said black guy.
I'm leaving it there.
That's offensive in so many ways.